The MVP debate is heating up, and there's multiple players who are actually worthy this year of an MVP. It's not a clear-cut favorite. We have a great graphic to throw to that Basketball Reference has drawn up for us. Thank you, basketballreference.com. It's basically where I live when I talk about the NBA. One of these 10 guys will win the MVP. Now, Basketball Reference has it pretty clear that Steph Curry, the best player on the best team in this year's NBA with a 43.7% chance, followed by James Harden with 23%, Chris Paul, which is a little surprising, but there are arguments for it, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and then Blake Griffin, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson. The bottom half of that list is not necessarily as important, I would say, as the top half, except for maybe LeBron, but I want to hear the panel's thoughts on this. Jeremy, we're going to start with you. Who do you think is the NBA MVP this season?
Well, as you said, it's pretty close. You can waffle among a bunch of people. I like Steph Curry a lot. I know that he, that's kind of the favorite pick, especially if
for most ankle breakers.
For most ankle breakers, yeah. Well, he's definitely the social media Vine MVP.
Oh, yes. Wow.
By far. If MVP
champ.
is based off of how many highlights you get circulating on Bleacher Report and Twitter, definitely number one. But yeah, I mean, Curry, he's becoming the new face of the NBA. I don't want to say LeBron isn't yet. He's still obviously the best player in the NBA.
It's amazing that he's becoming the face because he's 14 years old.
He's the baby face of the NBA.
He's the baby face.
The baby face of the NBA. Yeah, I mean, so if you're saying who's the best player, it's still LeBron. But in terms, and I think the MVP, it has more to it than simply just stats and ability on the court. Like, you look at LeBron's stats, they're absurd as usual. You look at Harden's stats, they're really impressive, especially considering he has no one around him really now with Beverly out and Dwight missing a bunch of time. And yeah, Curry's team is great. He has Klay Thompson around him and a really good supporting cast. But the thing about Steph Curry is that he embodies what that team is about. When you look at this at the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry is the face of that team, and they all they group around him and they rally around him, and that's part of being an MVP. You're valuable not because of your stats and because of what you give to the team, but because of what you do for your teammates
on the floor,
even if they're not your friends and they're just your teammates. So they seem to be gelling really well, probably because they're winning. But yeah, I mean, I think it's Steph Curry, especially considering all the hype behind him. We had a bunch of things about him at Davidson, him growing up. The story of Steph Curry is becoming more salient.
It's a heartwarming
story. He's a dad in the NBA. He's kind of
a mom that's
growing
super hot.
into. There you go. He's growing into that role from his 14-year-old body. And it seems to be something that's almost inevitable at this point. Because LeBron is amazing, and I think Harden has a case too. But I mean, people are getting sick of LeBron in terms of MVP voting. That's just the way it works, unfortunately.
LeBron fatigue.
Yeah, LeBron fatigue, exactly. Voter fatigue at the NBA level.
Do they have Bird fatigue? Do they have Kareem fatigue?
Okay,
they have Magic
I was actually looking at the MVPs on Basketball Reference, no less. And LeBron won it 4 out of 6 seasons. Nobody else has done that. Even Jordan, who won 6, won it over a course of like 12 years, and Kareem, too, won it over a course of like 13 years. No one has won that many MVPs in that short of a time as LeBron James. So it only makes sense that people kind of...
It's almost like they're crying out, we fucking get it.
Yeah,
right.
You're the best on the planet.
You're amazing.
Share the way.
You get it. You get it.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Well, so Anthony Davis, who I truly believe will be the best basketball player on the face of the earth in due time, not just yet. My God, the guy fills out, though. How do you stop? He's a super freak, and it's awesome. But he had his money on James Harden. Now, we have 2 quotes that nicely flow into each other. We're going to start off with that. He said, "It's tough. A lot of guys are playing out of their mind. James Harden, Russ, he's doing the shortened name version. Steph Curry, LeBron James. This is all part of the Dan Patrick Morning Show, and as we get to the second half of it, he kind of was pressured into giving an answer, and he said Harden is out of his mind. He's definitely playing out of his mind. We talk about this on my team every day. It's like every day. I think with him not having Dwight Howard for as much as he did, and he's still competing and still winning games for them, it's unreal. There is a case for James Harden to be the MVP, and a lot of that comes down to, he's the best player on the second best NBA team right now, at least standings-wise. I still put the Cavs ahead of the Rockets, and we did a whole why we hate the Houston Rockets clip. We got some love, we got a lot of hate. Credit where credit's due. James Harden is having an unbelievable
he's the
season.
best player on the second best team with a really great player missing.
Right.
Like that is something.
If you talk about
here's the thing for me.
Just
really quick to finish that little thought really quick is it's such a special season for Golden State. Right. And there is a best player on that team that, as you say, typifies that team. I think you should go with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you guys?
I think part of the Harden conversation. Harden's amazing, but Harden would be amazing whether Dwight was there or not. And I think a lot of the conversation around Harden is look what he's doing without Dwight. but he was doing that without Dwight already. Mm-hmm. So I think not that he's not having a great season, but a lot of people are adding weight to his game or his value to the team because Dwight's not there. And I think that is really what are pushing people to say, well, maybe it is Harden. Not that he's not good. Curry's the obvious winner, but Dwight was on the Lakers and he wasn't having that huge of an impact either. So we can't based on that criteria, he was great in Orlando. Right. He was horrible on the Lakers.
He never wanted to be there.
And he hasn't really done anything insane in Houston. I mean, if we look back, there's nothing really captivating that Dwight did. Harden was incredible last year as well. This year he's obviously stepped it up. So
there's a phenomenon in sports. There's a phenomenon in sports that's the kind of good, the flavor of good that never gets better. Mm-hmm. The people who bail themselves out enough or have that attitude where it's like, oh, I don't really need to focus on my game. I've hit this level, everything's fine. And I think that Dwight Howard's there. I do think that we need. Steph Curry to win because there haven't been a lot of adorable MVPs lately.
Adorable, right?
Isaiah Thomas never
with
won
a
it.
Full set of hair.
Just a gorgeous
Isaiah
man.
Thomas was adorable.
Isaiah Thomas was adorable. He was an adorable man, and Magic Johnson was adorable.
Or through an elbow.
We've been enjoying. Bill Walton won the MVP, and he looked like he was like Teen Wolf.
Right.
That's
there's
true.
been I can't believe the amount. There's been so many Teen Wolf references on TYT Sports that it almost comes up regularly. So
really?
Maybe Teen Wolf
I didn't
is the
know
11th,
that.
Maybe Teen Wolf. That's
the 11th MVP. I actually believe LeBron James is the MVP, and a lot of people
Why?
How can it not be Steph Curry? How can it not be? And Russ Westbrook deserves some nods, but this is a guy who is simply filling out a stat sheet. I'm sorry, that's how I see it. He's extremely fun to watch. He's explosive. He's explosive. He's got the triple doubles. He's doing stuff we've never seen before in a 2-3 week period in the NBA. But Steph Curry is having a better year altogether, and so is LeBron James. People are knocking LeBron James for having that 2-week period where he kind of took off. He was injured, which has some speculation to it.
Is that injured?
Well, he kind of GM'd a little bit, which I think is extremely impressive in itself. But when you look at LeBron James, that team, there was one stat that was pointed out, and it's a per 100 possessions stat, which is one of my favorite things to rely on when you look at 7-game playoff series, because you see those amount of possessions happen. With LeBron on the court, they are second per 100 possessions in player efficiency and points efficiency, right? Without LeBron on the court, they fall to 27th. That is value. Take Steph Curry off that team, and no, I don't see them making a run at a championship because they need him, but you still have Klay Thompson. You still have the potential defensive player of the year.
Actually.
And Andrew Bogut.
So the Warriors they're on pace for the most historically high plus-minus in NBA history, right? Are they still on that pace?
I believe they are.
Okay, so
I believe that
that's
is correct.
10.8, in case you're wondering. So that's with Steph playing the normal amount, obviously. Okay, so with Steph on the court particularly, 7.2 plus-minus. Without him, negative 1.9.
Right,
that's a huge drop.
That's a huge drop. So I correct myself.
Okay.
Steph Curry is extremely important.
He's super important. I get what you mean. And this is like, you got the LeBron argument is like the Westbrook argument is like the Harden argument. And that would be a super compelling MVP argument if there was no Steph Curry and there were no Golden State Warriors.
Well,
I think that's a sports talk trap that people fall into. It's freaking boring. He's so fun to watch, and it's such a special season for this new coach, Steph Curry, hitting his stride. Golden State, taking it to the next level, something that they were right up against until last year, and they've done it. It's such a special year for them, and that's boring. And there's those things you have to do when even though he's at what 2 to 5 odds versus like a 2 to 1 odds.
Yeah, he's got the best odds.
Man, just let him have it.
Yeah. Just let him have it.
Let's talk about LeBron's friendships.
We are watching a very special season with the Golden State Warriors, just in general. This is one of the greatest seasons of all time. Jacques, I know you have a few points you want to make before we wrap up.
No, I'm just saying, like Steph when I think of MVP, I think of like the most valuable player to the team or to that team, and I think what Steph does, yes, Steph is highlights. Like he's highlight city. He's the Vine king. He's the NBA Vine probably was created just because of the stuff that Steph the stuff that Steph does.
Oh, jeez.
But he pulls so much out of that team, even outside. Like what he does as a player, and then how he's assisting players, how he's opening up the middle, like with him penetrating. Like now people are collapsing on him because they're reacting
running
to
into
him.
each other.
Yeah, they're reacting to him, and he's able to kick it out and pass it out to get these other open. He's helping Clay get that 56 or whatever point game.
Special.
Yeah, like that. Like he's getting the ball out to people. Like that makes you a valuable player. It's not just what you do as an individual. And I think LeBron has done some great things individually as a player. There's no question that LeBron is the best player in the league, like without question. You know, Anthony Davis, he'll be there soon, but right now it's LeBron. But as a team, as a player for your team, there's no question that it's Steph
Curry.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, like, yeah, that's a great point. It's like, yes, you can be the best player, but is that the most valuable thing you can bring to your team? You know?
People say that, Steph Curry, there's been nights where he scores 8 points, but they still win when he scores 8 points. And you can be saying that's because he has a lot of talent around him, or you can be saying that's because he knows how to step back, he knows how to let his other teammates step up, and he is the face of that team. So even if it's not falling for him, that is more of a testament to his MVP candidacy than it is something that you should knock him for.
There's the most valuable player. Final thought on this.
Final thought.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
Because he's not playing, the team's just shit, and they're going to get a high draft pick. He's taking it upon himself. The most valuable thing he can do is not play. Make sure that I get SportsCenter updates all the time, and they're always like, the Lakers lost again, go get a beer.
I want Brett's SportsCenter updates.
Yes,
all right, guys.
definitely.
So I have Steph Curry. I have Steph Curry. I have Steph Curry, and I have Teen Wolf. All right. From Jeremy, Jock, Brett, and Jason, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Who is the NBA MVP this season? Please, someone throw out Lou Amadson from the New York Knicks.
I'm just waiting for Deion
My
Waiters.
God.
Look at how much he's accomplished without Carmelo Anthony.
Seriously, it's mellow, baby. It's always mellow.
It's always Melo.
It's going to be a rough year for Knicks fans. Like, I'm in a room with all Lakers fans, by the way. It's scaring me a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a good day.